What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday, man. Another Sunday here for our weekly watch party for The Last of Us episode 8, and followed up by an after show discussing the episode. Welcome, welcome, welcome again. This is my favorite time of the week, y'all. And I'm so excited to be back with you all. So, man, I'm excited about tonight's episode, y'all. If y'all joined us last week, last week's episode was probably one of my least favorite. Nothing against the direction or the performances or what have you. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like it was a big old setup for something that could have been resolved and pretty quick, or swapping between different stories and whatnot. But hey, that conversation for last week. We're here for this week. And for those that have played the video game, we are in for a treat. And for those that haven't played the video game, are in for a treat as well, because this is an introduction of a character and a set of stories, or a particular story that gets very dark. And we're going to see Ellie hopefully do some work tonight. So I'm excited for tonight's episode, y'all. But hey, before we got 7 minutes left before the episode premieres. If this is your first time tuning in, shout out to y'all joining us live. Shout out to all those who've been joining me for the last 8 weeks now. It's crazy. That's finale next week, which gonna be a crazy Sunday. This the finale and the Oscars next week, so it's gonna be a crazy time. But I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. This is your first time joining with the watch party. I have it loaded up on HBO Max. You have yours on HBO Max, and we watch it together, and we have a good time, man. And after the after show, when we have like light commentary throughout the episode, as we wrap up the episode, we do an after show. So you guys can join us and share your thoughts on the episode as well. That's how we do it. This is the first time for them, so in home before you himself. So again, shout out to every single one of you all. We got 25 of y'all watching live. Thank you for joining us. And thumbs up, man. Hit the share button, as well as leave your live comments in the live chat. So let me see. Pulled up some while the video was getting loaded. Shout out to Rims and Tony and Jay, Tasha, Meg, Leanne, Meg Kent, Sia, Silver, all the regulars. L's in the building. What's going on, L? If it stays in the script, then I think we can actually pretty intense moments. I'm very, very excited to see what you guys next. Shout out to you, L. Hope you're doing well. Y is in the building. What's up? So, yeah, man. Like I said, we got 6 minutes before this episode starts. So how was everyone's weekend? What did everyone do? I know in some areas there were some weather issues. I know with Brandon from Just My Opinion Reviews. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. I don't have my headphones in, so I forgot to turn it off. But thank you, Wise, for the heads up, man. I don't know if you guys heard me through the noise, but again, yeah, thank you. My bad. I turned the music off. I don't have my headphones there in the other room. I just forgot to get them before we went live. But you guys hear me okay now? Put a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. And I hope you guys heard me throughout the music. I pretty much was just welcome everyone into tonight's live stream. And for those that are new, kind of explaining what we're getting into as far as watching it and after show afterwards. So hopefully you guys heard that. L, thank you. All right, you can hear me? All right. Appreciate it. But as I was saying before, the little technical difficulty there. What did everyone do over the weekend? I know some people mentioned the John Jones fight. I haven't watched UFC in so long. I was never really into UFC, but there was like a moment in time where I used to watch. What was the name of the show where they had like fighters in a house, and like whoever won, I can't remember the name of it. It was when oh my goodness, his face is, I can see his face right now. I can't remember his name, but again, I didn't really get into UFC, but there was like a moment in time where I was like watching that show and watching whoever won that show and watching them in the UFC ring. I can't remember the name of that, but I'm gonna have to think about it before the end of this night. What was the name? Any UFC fans out there? What was the name of that damn? Thank you, The Ultimate Fighter. What was the name of it? And who it was? Who was the dude? The black dude that was in the movie with Bradley Cooper, Liam Neeson, the A-Team. What was his name? What was that dude's name? Because I used to follow him a lot because he was on that show, and he had the type of personality that was like very, someone that you can always like look forward to something crazy coming out of his mouth. And he was a good fighter too, but I can't remember his name either. So let me look that up too. If you guys See who comes up with it first. What is the dude's name that was in that show and also a UFC fighter? The A Team. Let me see. But besides the fight, Rampage. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate you. But besides the fight, what did anyone else do? Did you guys see any movies? Quentin Jackson. Thank you. AKA Rampage. Yep. Thank y'all. Y'all own it. But yeah, besides UFC, was there any? Did you guys see Creed? Creed 3 came out this weekend, and it's doing pretty damn well at the box office. I believe it had the biggest domestic opening for any Creed / Rocky film, and then internationally is doing pretty well. And I think in total it racked up over 100 million in its opening weekend, which is just awesome, man. And you guys can check out. I have a full review on the channel, spoiler free and spoiler discussion with my man Chris from Taste Take, so you guys can get my full thoughts on the film, breaking it all down. But anyone see Creed? And what else? Was there anything else? Ant-Man's not doing that well. Did anyone see Ant-Man for the first or maybe second time? Because that film is not doing too hot. And was there anything else over the weekend? I think that was pretty much. And then I know for anime fans, a couple anime stuff that came out. Was a Demon Slayer film came out, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let me know, y'all, what y'all do this weekend. Me myself, I was kind of doing some chilling, if I'm being honest. I was chilling and I was doing some editing for some videos that got lined up for the coming week. So, but besides that, man, it was a pretty chill weekend, and the weather was pretty good out here in the Midwest. So can't complain. Let's see here. That's your name. What, Rampage? Do you go by Rampage? Or is Quentin your name, Tony, or whatever? I don't know. Let me know. Correct me on that one, Tony. What you go by? Your real name is you go by Rampage? Tony says watch Creed 3. Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I had my some criticisms, but overall I really enjoyed it. May Ken, I bought my tickets for Shazam 2. Nice. Yeah, I'm glad people are getting excited for it because again, I mentioned it last week or earlier this week that I saw Shazam 2 back in December. It was a pretty cool early test screening I was able to attend. And obviously couldn't talk about it then, can't really talk about it now, but I believe the embargo for the film is coming up in the coming weeks. So I'm glad that people are getting excited for Shazam 2. And again, I can't share my opinions on it because it's under embargo, but I will be talking about it here sooner rather than later. All right, y'all. So it's almost that time. Y'all know the drill. We're going to have a little timer on the screen. So for those that are watching the replay, y'all can kind of know where everything began. And then those watching currently, if you got to roll to the restroom or what have you, you'll know where we're at with the episode. So let me pull up my little timer, handy dandy timer here. There we go. And let's switch the background out. And again, before we get into tonight's episode, again, I appreciate all 46 of you all that's joining us live. This is our 8th episode that we've been doing this for, and I've been having a blast every single week. And after each episode, we do have an after show that you guys can join and hear my thoughts. And sometimes we have special guests to join us. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts on it. So yeah, man, join me tonight when we go live again and talking about the episode. And before we get the episode started, thumbs up, share, and do your boy a favor. Let's have some fun. Let me know your thoughts as we watch tonight's episode. All right, so it is 8 o'clock now. Let me reset my HBO Max and see if it is locked and loaded and ready to go. All right. All right, nothing yet. Let's see. I'm really excited for the night, though. Really excited again for those. Yep, here it is. 50 minutes. Man, these episodes are they getting shorter? All right, y'all. So I'm about to click on the episode now. All right, so let me get the timer ready, and then on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, pressing play now. And again, I watch the trailers that they show, and then I watch the previously on. Right now, they're showing Succession, which I'm excited for. Why does it only come out of one ear? It's weird. Any Succession fans out there? If so, March 26th, final season of Succession, y'all. I'm both excited and sad at the same time. Here we go. Ellie, will you be watching and covering the blackening? It looks awesome. The blackening. I don't know what that is. May I? Let me know what that is. Oh, is that comedy with all the black cast kind of playing into the tropes of black people dying first in horror film? I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. Is it in theaters or is it streaming? I'll try to look into it. It looked funny from what I saw from it. What's up, Michael? I thought Creed 3 was all right. But then I watched Creed 1 is fire, bro. Creed 1 is absolutely fire. What's up, Goose? Excuse me. What's up, X? Oh, you watched House Party, Jay? It was bad. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one. It's a nice episode of hope and immediate redemption. Yeah, for last week's episode, yeah, man, I wasn't a fan of last week. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't up to par with other stuff from the previous episodes. Matilda with the super chat always coming through some love, and I know she don't even watch the show, and Matilda just comes through and always shows some love. So I appreciate you, Matilda. And we got 2 episodes left, Matilda, of Servant. So shout out to you with the super chat. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well, and excited to see what we get into for Servant later this week. Oh, you good? You good? Goose. The trailers are done now, so this is where I'm at in the episode right now. They're playing the theme intro. What's up, Sugar? The homie voice in the building. Oh, you never watched, Jay? Succession is fire, man. If you ever get a chance to put that on the docket, man, you won't be disappointed. It's one of the best shows over its 6 or 7 years. It's been on TV now, between seasons, obviously, but a really great show, man. Yeah, Goose. It's like I said, right now on my screen it's playing the intro, and it's like maybe 7. So yeah, right now the intro stops, so it's showing The Last of Us, and episodes about to start right now, my friend. So it is begun. Can't mess with Leanne no more. Oh, rims. Let me know. I know we're getting to the episode, but let me know if you like. I love the White Lotus rims. I don't know if you know, I covered both seasons, every episode. Very big fan of that show. So I hope, let me know, rims, if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All right, y'all. So the episode has started, and we're about to meet a new group of individuals. When are you in need? He shall provide. If I'm not mistaken, there's Troy Barker, right? Or Troy Barker. It's the actor that voiced Joel. Which is, I love that they brought the actors from from the game, the voice actors, into the show. It's so dope. Troy Baker. I say Barker. Do y'all hear? Do y'all hear a little bit of Joel with Troy? You can hear a little bit of it, but when he's playing Joel, it's a little bit more deeper. Just a little bit, not much. And David and James, some interesting individuals in the game, and I think they're adding a different perspective from them as far as this whole religious angle. See the dog in the background. Oh, is this a flashback? Maybe Bef- before things get out of control. Maybe a call. Yeah, well, we'll see. But I know again from it's been so long since I played the game, but I do remember what David and his crew were into, and I don't remember them having a. Or maybe they did have like a religious background to them. It's been so long. I hope that episode picks up the pace because the series has been getting a little slow for me. Yeah, no, you're not the only one that feels that way. I've seen a lot of other people feel that same sentiment. David is the worst. No, he's makes it worse. Okay, can you remind me, man? Was that angle presented in the game? If he was a religious man, I don't remember. It's the only thing I really remember about him. Well, a couple things. I remember certain events that take place between that character and Ellie, but I don't remember much of his backstory. So help me out, Kenny. Was that something in the game that they added to, or if that was if this is just something new for the show? What's up, Kay? How we doing tonight? Hey, I hope I have a feeling tonight's episode is gonna be a lot better for than last week. All right, let's see. She can put those skills to test. She can be able to take out a rabbit. Silly kid. Tricks are for kids, right? She going. Obviously, we saw David and his boy are going hunting, so they're gonna probably cross paths. Oh, she got it. That is a beautiful shot. Yeah, they cross paths. She's trying to put on like a deeper. Oh no, thought she was gonna hide, but and like lower her voice to appear that she's a man or something. She's doing something with her voice, right? I'm not tripping. At least trying to deepen her voice, be a little bit more menacing. Yeah, that was a little easy. She's smart though from unloading this gun. Very smart move. You could tell the maturity of her since we first met her. Try to seem older. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kenny, yeah. Definitely try to seem a little bit older. For my non-gamers out there, how y'all feeling about Mr. David? Do you trust him? I mean, listen, it's a show, man. They can do things differently. They can present characters in a different light. How y'all feel about David? But for my video game players, how do you guys feel about this adaptation of David so far? So far, it's Buddy Boy. Yeah, Buddy Boy. So far is okay. I've seen this actor before. I can't remember his name. Uh oh. Oh boy. Okay. 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 Man, this had to be the easiest couple days of work for Pedro. Just taking a nap. I mean, my man, he's a hard worker, but I mean, for get to chill in the bed for a couple weeks shooting these last few episodes. You know, he's not in the Mandalorian suit. They just use his voiceover. So Pedro getting that bag, y'all. Shout out to Pedro, man. You want to see the Mandalorian, by the way, this week? Episode 1, the apostate. I mean, give the man some space, Ellie. But I appreciate the sentiment, the care. And that's how I'll be watching it this week. Yeah, episode 1's pretty solid. I got a chance to see episode 2 in advance, and if y'all enjoyed episode 1 of Mandalorian, y'all are in for a treat for episode 2. Let me tell you that. Really, really good action. A lot of good build up. All right, the meat, the meat, the meat. I remember they said they were running low on some meat. Hmm. Hmm. Seems a little odd. Hmm. I don't know what kind of meat that was, guys, because the last time I heard they were running a little low on meat. So, hmm, it is for some. I can attest to that. It is. God damn. He ain't so holy, is he? Slapping women, slapping girls. These people are weak. Forget that. Who? I always be interested when we have these group dynamics of like what makes him so big and bad to everyone else in this room. Like just because he's a preacher slash teacher. I know he said they chose him, but like what made him so special? He doesn't look intimidating by any means. But they already eaten. I must be tripping. I thought they already. I thought it looked like some of them already had started eating before he even got there. And you notice the rations, like his plate compared to everyone else, got a bowl. He got a big ass plate. Yeah, remember that. Remember that meat. Where that meat come from? I don't know. Or just angry vegans. It did look kind of gross. Um, yeah, that's true, X. That is very true. Yeah, you don't trust them. Yeah, yeah, child abuse, right? Like who do you think, bro? But I'm just very curious. Like whenever I see a show like that, I just wonder like how someone comes to that position of power. I guess it's just one of those like serious versions of Day One for sure. Bro just pulled up like Turner. No one challenges him. That's what I'm saying, Goose. Like whenever you see something like that, I'm just very curious on what the how someone became in the position of power that he did. If it is very kind of like I speak through Jesus, Jesus speaks through me, follow me, I am your Messiah, type of situation where it's kind of the weak follow the strong or the one that pretending to be strong. You say you think, yeah. I mean, he could have been lying to Ellie. He said that they chose him, but you could be lying. But again, just seeing them sitting there and watch him slap a little girl like that to me means that these are weak-minded individuals. Yeah, Ooh, god damn, damn, poor horse. Knock her out. It's so trippy to see Troy playing James, taking out Ellie, who obviously going back to the game. It's just so meta to me, so crazy. See that different position of character. Damn, I forgot that is a nice. I mean, not nice, but for them to get that horse. What is his obsession with Ellie? I think the horse is not going to be in good hands, Kenya. Man, I hope that they recreate a certain scene um, with a character in this episode. A couple different scenes I hope they recreate, but one in particular involving Mr. Sleepy Man. Oh damn, Joe, you got to wake up now, bro. Damn, 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 damn. God damn, bro. Mm. I would say Joe's like 30% right now. He's up. Mm. You get him? Did he get him? I think he got him in the neck. Oh, I know he's in pain right now. I'm not talking about the dude Joe's. I'm talking about Joel. Oh, I know they got to hurt. Die. Just die. Got him. That's a crazy looking face right there. Right, that scene there. It's pretty crazy. Any Joe's a dangerous Joe. Kenny, that's true. One kind of creative liberty to take. Take the hat, Joe. Take that hat, take that gun, take them shoes, take them that jacket. Take it all. How y'all feeling about his performance so far? Him versus um Cat something Kathleen, Catherine, whatever her name was. I feel like they have some good actors in the role, but I feel like they're trying to be bad, trying to be menacing, and it almost comes off like it's too over the top, or not over the top, but just like it doesn't come natural. The scene in the diner was a little was intense, with him slapping that girl, but everything else, all the interaction so far with him and Ellie, just seemed like he's trying to be creepy. I could be nitpicking. How y'all feel about David? Oh, we're gonna get the scene that I'm thinking about. Yeah. This is yes, 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 yes. This is a video game moment. But I think Joel was a little bit more. Oh no, he's a lot better than I thought he was gonna be. Better condition. Yeah, this is straight from the game, guys. Mm. We gotta put. Yeah, I remember this from the game. Like tells him where to point it at with like a pin or something. Yeah, with his mouth. Yeah, point to it. Yeah, yeah. This was the scene I was talking about earlier that I hope they recreate, and it's literally shot for shot, more or less. I'm just surprised that Joel is in a much better shape than I would have thought he would have been in the show. Because in the game, I think there was a little bit more time for him to kind of heal up. Yeah, yeah, the pipe. I was gonna say, "Where's that pipe?" Yep. Yeah, is he gonna say it like, "I don't need you to"? Yeah. Yep. Nice. That was dope. Game players, Kenny, Jay. Did he kill the? Did he slit the guy's throat in the game, or did he just stab him in the chest like he did in the show? Regardless, that was great to see that kind of not reimagine, but kind of recreate it for the show. What did she see? So you gonna see what that meat is. Yep. Yep. Really? Yeah, this dude's cuckoo, y'all. What? That's a that is a big leap. Trusting a 14-year-old girl to help you run a town? Is this some type of romantic angle they're taking? Yeah, they're okay. Creepy alert. She gonna say something slick, ain't she? Gonna break his finger. Yeah. Get the key, get the key, get the key. Damn. Pervert. That's what's up, Ellie. It's a great moment for the character. What a creep. Gamers out there. Is that another layer that they're adding to? I don't remember him having an attraction to Ellie in the game. That's something new, if I'm not mistaken, but I didn't expect that. That's wild. But shout out, that was a great scene by Bella. I definitely, I'm buying more into his side as the episodes kind of going on, and I would definitely say he's more of the preferred villain of the show so far. Because all we saw what Kathleen do is just act out of a brother we never saw on screen, where we get to see this guy be a straight up creep and get Ellie, one of our characters, show him in his place. I'm sad this episode's about to end in like 10 minutes. Yeah, this episode's about to end in like 10 minutes, y'all. The finale's next week. And apparently next week's less than an hour. Jesus. Are those children? Oh my gosh. I mean, the game is dark, but the show really hasn't. I mean, besides obviously losing some characters that, in a sad way. I'm okay. Okay. Getting dark. Nice. Yeah. It's another video game moment that I remember. Yes. 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 This is awesome. This is freaking awesome, yo. And it only gets better from here. I wish it was only. I wish there wasn't only freaking 8 minutes left, but it's got to be some good 8 minutes. Some glorious 8 minutes here. It's like a final girl standoff to a pervert. It could have waited a little bit more steps there, Ellie. Man, that penicillin kicked in, didn't it? My man, not even pale in the face anymore. I know he's running off of adrenaline right now, but that shit kicked in quick. He needs to stop talking. He's starting to lessen and lessen more the more he talks. It's kind of coming off. He plays creepy really well. Hell yeah. Come on, L. Come on, get up, get up, get up. Oh wow. Yeah, he's playing creepy really well. Yep. Time to go to work. God damn. Wow. That's different from the game. That's completely different from the game. In the game, Joel had to get her off of him because she was just doing what she just did. No, that shit that hit, bro. That shit hit. Did he call her baby girl? Did he call her baby girl? That's what he used to call Sarah. He used to call Sarah baby girl, didn't he? Bro, that hit. That hit right there. Yo, I'm getting a little misty eyed, man. That hit. That hit, bro. Bella just ate that scene up. God damn, she ate that up. Full plate, no leftovers. Ah, don't end, don't end, don't end. Ah, come on. Ah, why you in right there? Why you in right there? Why you in right there though? That was good. That was good. I felt that. Felt that in my bones. Felt that in my bones, y'all. Bella Ramsey for the MVP. The award goes to you, baby girl. That was awesome. That was good. That makes up for kind of my dislike of last week's episode. That was good. That was good. That dude played a creep really well. Some of his moments were a little bit lackluster to me and kind of forced of him trying to be bad, but when he was like leaning into the creepiness, he really displayed that really well. I'm trying to think of the actors, trying to find the actor's name. Scott Shepherd. Yeah, Scott Shepherd. Let's see what this trailer looking like for next week. Finale. I can't believe we're already in a finale. And apparently Bella said that this is like gonna be a very divisive finale. Yeah, I heard next week is under an hour. And if you guys have seen Bella Ramsey talk about this episode next week, she said it's going to be very divisive. For those that are tuning in or still watching, I always like to watch the little after shows, just kind of pick their brains on where the thought process was. Watch this, take a little quick break, and then we're going to do our after show. But as we trickle in for tonight's after show, let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. If you want to save it to the after show, by all means, definitely save it. But if you want to let me know now, let me know, let me know, let me know. Put in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you give tonight's episode? Bella did her thing in this episode, man. She she captured that sense of survival. I felt that the anger, being underestimated, being taken advantage of, fighting for her life, man. I felt that Bella really did a good job there. I would say for me, we'll get into it in tonight's after show. This episode definitely picks up its momentum. I'm not even talking about the end. I'm just talking about progressively the episode just gets more enticing. Obviously, as we get more information about David, James, the group, Ellie, finding them, so it progressively got better, and I think they stuck the landing as it went along for sure. So you got some tens. Let's see. I think this is my favorite Bella's performance of that, and she's been a home run throughout the entire series. But her portrayal of someone fighting for their life was captured. I mean, I've never been in that position, thankfully, and hopefully myself and you all will never have to be, to fight for your life. But I would imagine just that primal switch in your brain, like it's either me or you, and I'm making my way out of here. I really thought she captured that really, really well. And speaking on David, our big bad this episode, I think again for me, when he leaned more into the creepiness, obviously he was going to come off a creep immediately. He wants to play, someone you can trust and someone that might be misunderstood. But when he leaned into the more like, no, this is who I am, I thought he captured that side really well. But when he was teetering on the line of like, I'm creepy, I'm menacing, but also want you to kind of understand that I could be a good guy, that to me, he didn't play it. He didn't play it that well in my eyes, but that creepiness, when he links to that creepiness, he was he did a good job there. And for my game players again, it's been so long since I played the game. Did the David in the game have that predator nature to him that he wanted to have Ellie be his wife? I don't remember that being in the game. Help me out in the chat for those that played the game if that was the angle they took. No offense to Scott Shepard as he's talking right now about his his role tonight. He looks like a creep. No offense to him and his family if he's married. I'm sure someone finds him to not look creepy, but he looks creepy to me. Yeah, just talking about the adding a little bit of nuance, that the line that they added of David being scared of her wasn't a part of the game because they want that fear of Ellie to be there. Ali Abopsi, is that the director's name? Oh, Baker. That's so great they got him back into the show. That is so cool that they brought the actor that played Joel to play James. And you heard a little bit of the Joel in tonight's portrayal. That has to be so trippy to again trying to playing someone that wants to kill Ellie versus 10 years ago, however long ago he played the character in the game. Now trying to kill Ellie, that's got to be trippy for him. And the fact that, and then even the reverse on that, the fact that Ellie kills him is even meta and crazy. It has to be a head trip for him as well. Ellie being the one that kills him. The character, obviously, of Ellie. Now we just need one more actor to reprise their role. Well, not reprise their role, but to join the show. And that's I think her name's Ashley Johnson, the actress that played Ellie in the game, which if you saw the trailer, she will be. I guess now she's gonna be in the finale. Fighting violence with violence. Let me know in the chat again for everyone that hasn't played the game. Thoughts obviously on the episode, but for my game players, the change of Ellie being walking off on her own after killing David versus the game, Joel coming in, stopping her. I'm sure, obviously it's been so long since I played the game, so I'm trying to recollect my mind how I felt about that. Obviously, I love the moment, but in tonight's episode, I do, and I know. Okay, I'm glad that they're calling it out that he called her baby girl. That was what he called Sarah. But actually, I don't know. I might like the way that it was her that decided to, stop bashing his face in and walking out on her own versus the game having Joel be the one to stop her and pull her away from the violence. I actually kind of like that because it not completes her arc, but it gives her that moment of it was like it was all her. But we'll talk about it tonight, y'all. Again, for all 82 of you all joining us, I appreciate you joining me live. I am about to take a quick restroom break, and then we're going to get more into tonight's discussion in the after show. But as I take our quick 5-minute break, put your scores in the chat and what you all thought about tonight's episode. Let me know. Score wise, let me know. And I will see you guys on the other side. We will be going live in about 5 minutes to have an after show talking about the episode. But as I go away, put your scores from 1 to 10 on what you thought of the episode. And I will see you guys in 5 minutes. are back with a little restroom break. Turn the music off right quick so you guys can hear me loud and clear. Welcome back, everyone. Shout out to those that joined tonight's watch party and watched the episode with me. I appreciate y'all, as well as shout out to everyone that's just joining us that maybe didn't join the watch party and joining the here the after show. So we just got done watching the episode, y'all. And if you saw the watch party, I was pretty pleased with tonight's episode, and we'll get into my reasons why. But before we get into it, y'all, for those that are, again, just joining us after the after show, welcome. Do me a favor. I would much appreciate it if you're enjoying the conversation, if you're having a good time, if you enjoyed the episode, hit a thumbs up. Really would appreciate it, as well as share this this live stream, and also comment, y'all. Hit those comments, man. Let me know. Again, before I left, I wanted you all to put your score of tonight's episode from 1 to 10. So go ahead and score that thing. Put that in the chat, and let me know your feelings, man. How do we feel about this this 8th episode, man? Damn, we got 1 episode left. Next week's finale. It came a little quick, man. It came a little quick. Some of that, and I'll get to, some criticism I'm having for not only this episode, which I did enjoy, but I will get into my criticism, but also this series, man. It seems like things are just going a little too quick for me. But we'll get into tonight's discussion. But again, y'all, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm very excited to be here to talk about an episode, because if you were here last week, I didn't hate last week's episode. It's just, out of all the other episodes, I would say 4 and 7 were my least favorite, for a couple different reasons. But what tonight's episode did, what last week didn't do, because obviously we were both episodes were kind of a building up to the Riley Ellie relationship and falling in love and finding people you love for. That build up to how we got to the end of it, to me, just wasn't as cohesive and wasn't as impactful as tonight's build up was, of seeing Ellie going from just straight up surviving, and which we'll get into tonight's episode. So I really thought that this week's picked up on what last week didn't give me, and kind of missed out on some things. But man, performance wise, I'm going to go ahead, put my MVP out there, and put yours in the chat now. Bella Ramsey, man, she to me embodied survival. Like, she to me, like, and it builds up so perfectly from when you think about episode 1 to her, Joel, Tess going out of the QZ, or not the QZ, QZ, and making their way out there, and her just being so new to the world because she's been, sheltered from, well, besides, the whole Riley situation, but she really hasn't come to this level of survival. And just seeing her fight for her life in tonight's episode was the best. And I've really enjoyed Bella this entire season so far. But to me, this was her best performance. It showed in her emotions. It showed in the look of her eyes. I just thought that she really conveyed that. And obviously, I'm jumping ahead to the last scene, but just seeing that sense of desperation, not only for herself, but Joel, when she goes back and, like, if anyone comes here, Joel, you kill them. You hear me? I just felt that sense of danger right around the corner, and thinking that she might not make it. And her and Joel, all this stuff, all the people they lost, this journey, and this might be squandered, with these people that they came across. So I don't know, man. She just really captured that sense of desperation and survival, and just kicked it into gear tonight. Again, all her other episodes were fantastic. I thought she's done a really good job as Ellie in the show for me. But tonight, to me, I don't want to downplay her previous 7 episodes, but tonight, I don't know what it was, but it just felt like the most Ellie episode to me. I don't know what it is, but hey, I could be wrong. Let me know how y'all felt about her performance, and if she was your MVP, because she was definitely mine, man. And some other things that come to mind, obviously the production of the show is fantastic. The score is obviously fantastic. I'm kind of torn between Scott Shepherd, who played David tonight, because as I mentioned in a watch party, and we'll get into the certain scenes that I'm referring to here, but the moments in which, and I kind of felt the same thing about, I can never remember her name. It was Kathleen or Kathy or whatever her name was. Those are some, Melanie and Scott are 2 great actors. I've seen Scott in some more comedy than I've seen him in more serious roles. I'm just looking at his filmography now, and the stuff I've seen of his, mostly supporting roles, but a lot of stuff. Oh, he was in El Camino. I don't remember him being in El Camino. A lot of stuff I've seen him in, he's kind of playing, not comedic, but he doesn't. This is the weirdest and creepiest I've ever seen him play. And when he played creepy to me, he did a good job in conveying that side of his character, David. But when David was trying to be like kind of menacing and kind of teetering on, sure, you don't know who I am, but I'm a nice guy. Maybe I'm just a little misunderstood. That to me was a little bit too not as believable as seeing him really leaning on him being a creepy. Like he played a creep really well to me in tonight's episode. So he was kind of the only actor to me that was like, I wish, they lean more into that creepiness side. But I thought when he did get into that was some really scary, terrifying stuff for Ellie. So, but other than that, man, the buildup was there, and the satisfaction of her getting that, just getting, man, that was satisfying, man. So initial impressions, man, definitely a great episode to me, and really excited to get into tonight's conversation. But let me pull up the comments here and get you guys' thoughts, read off the scores. Let me see here. And again, I appreciate all 77 of you all that are here with me now. Hit that thumbs up. Continue to leave your thoughts in the comment section, and let's have a good time tonight, man. And by the way, if anyone wants to join in, let me know. Hit me up in the DMs. If you all want to join tonight's live watch or discussion, just shoot me a a DM, and just reading a message here. Shout out to you, Taka. But yeah, shoot me a DM on Instagram or Twitter if you guys want to join me in tonight's discussion. But all right, I think I'm caught up here. I'm just looking at the comments from the last part of the episode. A lot of people were shocked, just like me. It was really, really into Ellie, her moment there. But let me see, where are these scores? Yeah, so that moment was great. Baby Pedro, Dream Team. Yeah, the moment when he called baby girl, which we'll get into, I felt that moment, man, because that was the first time, as they confirmed this episode, that's the first time he's called her that, because that was something he used to call Sarah. So that's a pivotal moment for those characters, and for him to say that to her is a really big moment. Yep, calling her baby girl. Yeah, is he a good one? Unfiltered mode for sure. She went ham, didn't she? She went berserker. I love it. All right, so we got a 10 out of 10. Big W. That was a good episode. I agree. We got another 10. 10s across the boards. 10s. 10. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's back on track, because last week, if you guys saw it, I wasn't, again, the biggest fan of last week's episode. Nothing to the acting or the direction. Well, more so the direction. I didn't really like the direction the episode took. Just the buildup wasn't there to me. But yeah, who's cutting onions? Yeah, again, I felt that moment. Of them coming together. I have a great after show discussion question. Oh, you have it? Okay, I'll look for it, X. I'll see if I can find it here. So freaking good. Excellent, Vaughn says. And again, he played creepy really well, Rims. I 100% agree with you. He did a really good job of capturing that creepiness of him. Another 10. Okay, we got some 10s here, man. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm not as high as a 10, but I'm kind of floating. I'll give you guys my score once I finish reading your scores. Jay got it a 10. Just gave it an 8. My man Kenny gave it a 10. We got another 10. 10s, man. Y'all thought this episode was fire. I love it. Xavier with a 10. Saving my score for the after show. All right, I'm gonna look for it, X, and I'm gonna look for your question too that you mentioned. Tony with a 9. Nice. Rems with an 8.9. Bellatoli. Let's see here. Bellatoli just wore Ellie an excellent, amazing fat. Yeah, she, like I said to me, X, and this is nothing against her other performances, the other 7 episodes. To me, we got shades of Ellie in the 7th episodes, right? The smart mouth, slick-witted moments in the episodes that we got prior to tonight. But tonight, this survival and the violence of Ellie in tonight's episode really was just like, okay. And again, not saying that I didn't think she was Ellie in the previous episode, but this was the defining moment for me for Ellie, that I'll be like, yep, they casted a perfect actress in the role. So yeah, she wore that fashion of Ellie very well. Kenny saying all of them were 10 out of 10 for me, but I'm biased because it's my favorite video game, favorite story of any game I've ever played. Yeah, it's up there for me too, Kenny. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I always mix up the right, left shoulder. Yeah, it's one of my favorites of all time, up there with, I'm a big fan of Naughty Dog, so I love the Uncharted games. Probably Uncharted 3 is my favorite. God of War is always up there for me. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite stories as well, man. So I hear you, Kenny. Got a 9.5. Who's a bigger gangster? Bella or half sick. um I gotta go with Bella, man. I mean, that's you gotta keep in mind, man. This is a 14-year-old girl that's obviously been through a lot at this point in her life and on this journey. And obviously Joel has seen the darkest of dark. He's probably, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Joel, I think he even said it, one time he got into it with someone, got shot, and he's been injured on his way on his journey since the apocalypse started. But so for her to really, her first time to face death, I don't want to say face death in this light, but the way that she handled herself in tonight's episode, it was all new, it was all fresh. There's really no moments to prepare for what she had to do. And for her to react the way she did and come out on top the way she did, I got to go with the G. For me is Ellie. Bella did her thing. She's the gangster for me. She's my MVP tonight. She's the OG tonight. She did her thing tonight. So I'm going with Ellie. Even though having, I said in the watch party, and we'll get to it here, that penicillin, man, that kicked in pretty quickly for Joel to come, because he went from being half dead to, again, I know adrenaline's rushing. Obviously, he wants to save Ellie. I get all that stuff. But I'm like, man, this man is moving pretty quickly for just 2 seconds ago being passed out. This little son, how Joe went from I didn't even read your comment before I just said what I just said. That's exactly what I feel. My man was literally counting the ABCs, thinking he's back in the day. Like, my man was out for the count, and then he had to, again, I've never been in that position, American Troy 77, as far as like being presumably on your deathbed to having to save someone you have to fight for. I hope I'd never have to be in that position, but I would imagine adrenaline is on an all-time high. You got a mission. You're trying to save your someone that you have grown fond of and have grown to really kind of appreciate and more or less love. You probably are going to get up and just fight with whatever ounce of energy you have. You're going to probably fight for your life. But again, my man was literally knocked out. But hey, shout out to Joe, man, kicking it into gear there. We got an 8 out of 10. We got a 9, a 9 plus. The acting was phenomenal. Yes, I agree. 9.8 or 8.5. Yep, a great episode. I don't know. This has got the Facebook on, so I don't know what this is, like in another language here, so I can't read that. And again, Ken, if you're still here, and not even just Kenny, anyone that played the game, let me know the things I called out as far as the differences that I remember from the game. The Ellie scene at the end was different, because I remember in the game, Joel had to pull her off for David after she was butchering his ass, versus the show had Ellie kind of on her own restraint kind of pulled herself back and walked out of the burning building. So that was different. And I couldn't remember. I think he was religious in the game, but I don't know if we ever really saw that in the game. Him doing, reading from Revelations and all that angle. I don't remember if they really leaned too far into that in the video game. And I couldn't remember if the predatorial kind of, I want you to be my wife, I don't remember if that was an angle they showed in the game. So for any of my game players, help me out in remembering if that was something that was added to tonight's episode, or if that was already baked into the original game. Let me know. I couldn't remember. David never, ever presented to me as a good dad. Yeah, no, not once. Not once, for sure. I mean, immediately, no offense to Scott Shepard, the actor that played David, he just looks like a creep, like naturally. Yes, David did want Ellie romantically. Okay, thank you, Kenny. Okay, I couldn't remember. So I appreciate the clarification, man. It's been so long since I played the game. I remember, so before we watched the episode, I remembered the scenes that stood out in my head that I remember from playing the game was the Joel taking on those two guys. I remember that scene. I was so glad that they replayed that, and we'll break that scene down a little bit later. And I remember the end result of how Ellie killed David, but all the nuance from getting from there to there, I didn't remember all that stuff. So yeah, it's been so long. It's been so long. But again, he does look creepy. But so I've seen a lot of 9.5s, a lot of 9s, a lot of 10s, a lot of 8.5s. I think for me, and we'll get into it as we kind of break down the episode. This is episode, I'm teetering on an 8.8 or a flat out 9. The reason it doesn't go 10 for 10 over me, for me personally, like I said, some of the stuff with David's performance felt a little bit not as believable for me. The creepy stuff he was great at. The non-creepy stuff, when he was trying to impose his will and try to impose himself to like his group felt a little off. But besides that, the creepiness was creepy. And then another thing that kind of prevents it from being a 10 to me, if some events, it still feels like they're going too quickly for me. Again, I know tonight's episode was about 50 minutes long, and I know from what I remember from the video game, there's a lot of chunks of the game that they're kind of. I'm not even talking about like clickers and bloat. Like obviously that stuff has been kind of lacking in the show, which I've come to accept because they're providing a little bit more nuances and definitely showing more of exploration of the characters and their mindsets, all that stuff. So I'm okay with if you take away some of the action, but you provide us with more character depth. I'm okay with that substitution. Even though I would love to see more action, I'm okay with that substitution if it's executed well. But tonight, to me, it kind of stood out like a sore thumb that they're kind of, like I said, rushing over some things because I wish they would have maybe spent a little bit more time, especially from David, from going from, I'm teacher, preacher, good guy, come follow me, to next time I see you, I capture you, to next time I see you, now I want you to be my wife. That those chains of events just seem to happen so far fetched. Like you got to remember, this is in a span of like an hour from when he first saw her in the morning to him, she going back to getting the medicine to Joel, to them catching her on the horse, to them, in the cage. It's probably like 2 hours, I would imagine, in real time. So I just felt like that from, hey, I'm a preacher, to, hey, I want you to marry me. I feel like there was some stuff that could have been maybe planned, like one or two more conversations between them before we get that switch, because we get that in the game. We have more of them interacting, more of the conversation before he goes to straight up, pedo mode. So I just wish there was a little bit more of that nuance there. So that's what prevents it to me from being a 10, is just I feel like they're rushing through some of the no pun intended. I wish they were messing the meaty stuff. Can't even get it out before laughing. A little bit more meat on the bone. Perfect for tonight's episode. Let's see. But let me pull up let me get some screenshots going, and we'll kind of break down the episode. As we open, first and foremost, like I said, man, this show has done something every single week. The show looks incredible, without a shadow of a doubt. As we open the episode with this beautiful landscaping shot of just the coldness they were talking about on the inside of the episode, that they were shooting during one of the most coldest times of the year, and you could tell that it was cold. I got that sense just looking at the screen. I was a little bit cold, but again, we opened the episode with this. David reading to his people. And again, Kenny, shout out to Kenny for filling me in there for my lack of memory from the video game. But David was a religious figure in the game, or a religious person in the game. And they definitely showed that in the episode. And again, if you're still here, Kenny, did they lean into the religious angle? Like, did they show, I can't remember in the game, if they showed him reading to his people, reading from Revelations and whatnot. But we see this scene here, and correct me if I'm wrong for those that are watching live, which again, we got over 100 people watching. Appreciate y'all joining me in tonight's discussion. Just a reminder to, if you're enjoying tonight's discussion, hit the thumbs up and leave your comments, questions, concerns, what worked, what didn't work, who was your MVP, and what would you give tonight's episode on a scale of 1 to 10. But let me know in the chat, for those that played the game, if this was something that they put an emphasis on, his religious angle. But they pretty much, and I might have missed it, but I'm pretty confident that the girl that was crying, her dad was the one that Joel killed 2 episodes ago, when Joel and Ellie came across those people from this group, that was her father that she was crying over. Let me know if because again, when you're hosting a show, reading comments, sometimes you miss some of the dialogue. But I'm pretty sure the girl that we see in this opening sequence here was the daughter of the Alec. I think they said his name was Alec. That was the daughter of her, and she's clearly sad. She lost her father, and now she has this weird dude trying to be her dad. Like, no, dude, you're not my dad. I don't. You're nothing like my dad. And let me know if I missed that. But yeah, here's a lady here, and I believe that's her mother too. And she kind of looks like, that girl kind of looks like a young highly Haley Stanfield from the Western movie with Jeff Bridges, which was a remake of the same film. But she kind of reminded me of that with her hair right there. But a lot of 10s, instant 10. I'm just reading a lot of your scores. Also, X, you gave it a 10 out of 10. We got a 12 out of 10. It's the first 4 class game. I'm just reading you guys' comments again. A lot of you guys are dropping your score here. Some more tens, some more tens. That's awesome, man. Like I said, where I'm at right now, I'm at an 8.8 out of 10. But as we kind of look at this, kind of revisit these scenes and talk through it, that score might go up just a little bit. No higher than a 9. No higher than a 9. But I will say, from someone that does come from the video game world, from The Last of Us, it is great. And I love that the show has not only adapted or not only have allowed Neil, the creator of the game, to be a part of the creative team with writing this show, because that relationship, that symbiotic relationship, isn't always a good thing. Sometimes when you have, an author, a book writer who made a big IP, I'm thinking of J.K. Rowling, who obviously wrote the Harry Potter films, and she was the writers of the Fantastic Beasts. And I didn't see the most recent one, but I saw the first two. The script was one of my biggest issues with that film. And what I'm getting at is not all the times when you have the actual creator from a video game, from a comic book, from a series of books, or whatever the case may be, whenever they come on to the live action version, it doesn't always translate well. But in this case, to me, I'm glad they brought Neil in, and I feel like the translation from video game to TV has worked, even though they've taken some things from the game, obviously for homage purposes and story purposes, and they've obviously switched some things for the TV show purposes. But I do like what Neil has brought to the show, from obviously being the creator of the game, directing episode 2, I believe, with Tessa's death. So I do feel like that relationship has been pretty strong. And the other thing that I like from the video game is that they're bringing in the original actors to play, not their live action counterpart, but to play characters in the show. We obviously have Marlene, who was the only actor who voiced Marlene in the game, who plays her in the live action version, which is cool. We've had the character Perry, who did Perry play in the game? I'm slipping my mind right now. Perry played Tommy. He played Tommy in the game, and obviously they brought him in to play the henchman in episodes 4 and 5. So that's great. And then one of the OGs, the legend himself, man, Troy Baker, who voiced Joel, is now playing James. So I think that's just so cool. To me, it's just like a level of respect and a level of like appreciation to what they brought to those iconic characters, and having them come back to play live action characters. And the thing I love about Troy, and I love that Marlene was playing Marlene. I love that the guy that played Tom, who played Perry. To me, this one was a little bit more of a tilt of the hat, and put a big smile on my face, considering that Troy played Joel in the game. Now he's playing James, who's trying to kill Ellie, and having Ellie kill the guy that played Joel. To me, it's just like, it has to be a cool thing for him as an actor to kind of have that two sides of the coin to be played out. So I think that's really cool. And then there is one more actor who played a big character in the game, Ellie. I believe her name is Ashley Johnson. And if you've seen the trailer for the show, she's in the show. I don't want to say who she is for those that haven't seen the trailer, but I'm assuming we're going to see her next week. So I don't know. I appreciate that. It was what I'm getting at, that they've allowed the actors to kind of, play different characters, but be able to play a character in the live action. To me, it's just like a level of respect that I really appreciate. Let me know if you guys feel the same in the comments, or if you hate it. Let me know. But anyway, moving on. Shout out to a super chat that we got from the homie, a big supporter of the channel, who gave me one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten before for Christmas, and she gave me a lovely birthday card. Nisi Smith with a $10 super chat. And she says, great episode. I agree with you, Nisi. Like I said, if you all joined me last week, I wasn't the biggest fan of last week. But this one definitely picked up for me, as far as I'm satisfied. I feel like that was a good meal. They cooked it well. It was well done. I'm trying to come up with more meat puns with the topic of tonight's episode, but it was well cooked episode for me. But shout out to you, Nisi. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great weekend. My man Jay, I thought Bella's performance was off the chain. Yeah, man, off the chain, off the bone. Yeah, I'm just, give me more puns, guys. Give me more meat puns. She went ham. There we go. She went ham. Yes, more meat puns, the better. Let's try to get some more in the chat, and I'll try to come up with some in my head. Jose, people online have been criticizing Bella's casting as Ellie. Maybe she doesn't look like her in the game, but she proves she's perfect for this part of the episode. Yeah, I've seen the criticisms, Jose, but listen, you don't have to look like. I mean, Joel looks nothing. I mean, Pedro Pascal looks nothing like Joel, but he's given a great performance. And I mean, a lot of actors, you don't need to look like a video game character to give us a good role. And I thought Bella tonight, like I said, to me was the best episode of her as Ellie. So yeah. What's up, Justin? How we doing, my friend? Kenny, I was critical about Bella until I saw her play the part 1 episode and realized she was perfect. Yeah, she, like I said, I've loved there's been moments that I'm like, yep, she's perfect. Yep, she's Ellie. But tonight, to me, Kenny solidified her as like, excellent. The David actor wasn't all convincing. That's what I'm saying. It was like the good bad guy to me wasn't all that good, like the portrayal, but the creepiness to me, he executed that. Like the dude, like I said, you talk about lookalikes. He, no offense to the actor Scott Shepard, but he looks like a creep in my eyes. That was so heavy, but when it went to blank, I got an 8 out of 10. Let me see, my man Kenny saying David wasn't meant to come across as trustworthy or a good guy. His character is meant to be eerie, even when he's trying to be nice. That's his character. And no, I totally agree with you there, Kenny. 100% well said too. It just, to me, I guess it's a hard thing to say because obviously, like you just said, Kenny, the character's trying to play nice, but it's coming off as like he's just trying, like the character's trying to be nice, but it's coming off awkward. It's a hard thing to do, to portray that. And I don't know if I totally bought into it. Is what I'm saying. I bought into him being a creepy son of a you know what, but the whole good guy, bad guy, trying to not be a bad guy, but trying to be a good guy, to me wasn't. It's a hard thing to balance. It's a hard thing to portray. But I just wasn't completely sold on it. But well, I appreciate your sentiments in your comments there, Kenny. What else, my man? Kenny say even in the game when he tried to trust him, you don't, because well, in the game too. Also, you talk about good casting. Like they did a good job. Obviously, he didn't look anything like the David in the game, but they got a guy to look creepy like the guy in the video game did. He was also too in a video game. He came off a little bit more rugged, not as like he had like black hair. He looked like he was kind of on like sleep deprived. He looked the part. And tonight's, like I said, the guy tonight just with the kind of pale skin, the blonde hair and the blonde, like it's like this guy's up to no good. But as we kind of go back to the episode here, as we're breaking it down again, going back to Bella's performance and just being so believable and just completely buying into what she was giving me in every single scene. And again, just seeing her, it's like, could you imagine? I mean, it's hard to imagine being in an apocalypse, being in the position that our characters are in, but just for a brief moment, if we could play make believe, just her being in this moment of like, what do I do? The guy that's supposed to take me from A to B is on his last breaths. I have this obstacle. I have this pressure on my shoulders to try to save the world. I'm the cure. And then just seeing all this kind of fall and crumble apart right in front of you has to be a lot. And I thought that Bella just did such a great job of showing that level of like desperation. She doesn't have all the answers. She's not she's not perfect in the sense of like, and when we follow these type of stories, the characters seem to always have an answer for everything. She doesn't know what to do next, right? She stumbles on her way to trying to find the answer. So I just thought Bella just conveyed that so perfectly tonight. And we see that here in this scene here where she's just like looking like, Joel, just get up. Please, just get up. Can you just get up for me, please? Can you help me out? And just seeing her take care of her shit in this episode was fantastic, man. But as we kind of go through the episode, this first 10 minutes or so, again, we're seeing her try to fend for herself. And the first thing that comes to mind is obviously shelter, is checked off the box. And for right now, he seems to be stable with her patching up his wound and giving him the stitches. You got to get food, man. She has to go out and get some food. And again, knowing that throughout this journey, Joel has taught her how to use the gun. We see her out looking for some food, and we see her miss the bunny or the rabbit, but she ends up taking out that deer. But unfortunately, not to quote David, but as he said earlier in this episode, things are meant to be, as the deer that she shot is the same deer that David and James come across. And one of the first things they say is, whoever shot the deer, not knowing who it was, obviously Ellie, is probably not too far along from here. And again, they come across each other's paths. Now, at first, I didn't know, as while we were watching the episode with Ellie kind of deepening her voice, I didn't know if she was if it was working too well. I mean, it sounds just like a kid just trying to lower their voice, but obviously she wasn't like hiding in the shadows. She was there the whole time. But we see her, fully loaded. And the thing too, even though her voice was like obviously not as intimidating as she might have thought it was coming out of her head, coming out of her mouth, I should say. But I mean, the believable factor. Like I believe the look in her eyes, the way she's carrying herself, the way she's not like kind of fumbling with the gun. Like she looks like someone that will kill you. Like if you don't listen to me, I will kill you. And I do believe if they would have pulled some shit, she would have pulled the gun and killed them both. So I feel like she was very believable in that moment. And I think James felt that. And to David's point of him seeing, as he says later in the episode, I see myself in you. I think he believed that she would have pulled the trigger. So I think she portrayed that well and showed that well. And I think again goes back to Bella's performance. But let me read some of your comments here before we move further into the episode. Let's see. Let me see, where did I last leave off at? This episode was fresh. Keep them coming, guys. With the puns. This episode was fresh, fried, and crispy. Love it. Let's see if we can keep this going. Let's see if we can keep the oven going. Keeping it going. Run those different mediums is hard. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I always say that with, I'm a big fan of video or Marvel, DC, and sometimes you see some of these characters trying to be taken from the comic book pages into the not to derail this conversation to Ant-Man in the Wasp Quantumanium, but I think there's certain characters like a MODOK that, to me, and at least from their portrayal, the translation to me wasn't done well at all from MODOK from the comic books, even in video game form. I know there's a MODOK TV show on Hulu. Some of those characters, obscureness, craziness, weirdness doesn't translate well to live action. And not only do I think they didn't do a good job of the live action of the portrayal of MODOK, but I didn't think he was written well. But I say all that to say this to your comment here. Not all mediums cross over to live action. And it's not always a guarantee that even though you might have the same creators that made that video game, comic book, that when they come over to live action, you're going to get that same sense of characteristics and portrayals and performances, but it doesn't always work out that way. But so far, like I said, this show has done a really good job of translating a lot of the stuff. Let's see here. Butler says this might be my favorite episode yet. We have to see what they give us. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. Not my favorite though. That's still, I think my favorite episode is probably, man, the 1, 2, and 3 to me are like Rocky 1, 2, and 3. Like I can interchange those. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 of the Last of Us has been my favorite episodes of the show. And if I were to pick one, that's tough, man. I don't have kids, but it's like picking a kid. I can't pick it right now, but just know that 1, 2, and 3 are like my top 3 in no particular order. And then I would say 5 comes in next, and then tonight for me. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and then the rest. And then I was the biggest fan of 7 and 4. So yeah. Let's see. James was much younger. Oh, okay. Again, Kenny, I appreciate the knowledge, my friend. Because again, the little nuance stuff, I can't remember a ton of it. So he was younger in the game. Interesting in the game, and they made it more pass. The game. Yeah, and that's another thing I mentioned tonight's watch along. That tonight, again, that was one of my criticisms where I feel like certain events are just happening too quickly, and that was one of them. Thank you for confirming that, Kenny. That we did have a little bit more time to breathe and more time to kind of spend with these characters. How do you know when a cannibal is frustrated? Okay, this is going to be good. How do you know a cannibal is frustrated? You break their fingers and cleaver them in the neck. Yep, that's how you know. That's nice. Interesting that Joe being forced to kill again brings him back to life as if he was to survive without killing and become a nice. That is funny. You did get he did get up for some blood, right? He is like, oh, I get to kill someone. Oh, this is what life is about. That's funny. That is funny. What is playing on my TV, by the way? I don't even know how my TV's playing right now. Anyway, there's a ghost in the house, y'all. Let me see. David made a yes, you guys understood the assignment. David made the mistake messing with Ellie. I think I don't want to jump ahead. I don't know if it gets better than that. I don't know if it gets better than that, y'all. That is let me put a star on that. I'm gonna put a star on that comment and bring it back when we wrap it up. That might be the best one. Kenya, I think you might have stole the award for best meat joke tonight. I love it. Let's see if anyone can top that. I don't even know if I can top that. I'm gonna try to come up with something, but I don't know if it gets any better than that. I don't know if you can beat that. Let's see here. It's just killing me that Joel and Ellie still haven't eaten. Like, take some deer to go. Well, no, you saw this episode when she put, actually, let me go back. There was like a little bit of, I don't know if it was beef jerky or something, but it was a little bit of food that she had. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know what it was, but it looks like it was something to kind of hold them over that they probably have. Let me see if I can find the shot of it. And again, I don't know what it looks like. It was beef jerky. Could have been something else entirely. Let me see if I can find the shot. But she put it on his coat when she was leaving. Here it is. Here, let me see if I can find it. She was putting water on his lips so he can stay hydrated. And then before she left, here it is. I don't know what it is. It looks like it's because she's eating it now. Yeah, here we go. No, press play. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It looks like a piece of meat. So I would assume that maybe between last week's episode and this week's episode, maybe she got a small little animal she found and was able to cook or found, it was food that they had in their bag, just a little bit of it. But I don't know exactly what that is. But there's, as you can see on her, she puts a little bit of meat or whatever that food is on his chest. So they had a little bit just to kind of, help them survive for the time being. Oh, Jay, what did Jay say? There's no horsing around when it came to. I see you, Jay. I see you. That's up there. That's up there with Kenya's remark. That's up there. That's up there. The timeline plays short in the city. Yeah, that's something I mentioned earlier, Goose. That the timeline is this, which is wild to me that they, based on episode 1 and 2, definitely 1. It was an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes long. So I don't know why we've since then from the premiere. And I understand that episode 1 was supposed to be it was 2 episodes combined into 1. But I don't know why they went backwards. We even had an episode that was like 45 minutes long, which if you don't even include the credits and after show, is probably like 39 minutes long. So I don't know why they're deciding to shorten the episodes because, they're not, this is HBO. They're not restricted to a budget. I mean, there's a budget for everything, but at the end of the day, it's a big IP, a big video game. The numbers, I mean, obviously they shot the show before they got the numbers of the show, but I don't know why they haven't really beefed out these episodes and really kind of prolong certain events. This is my favorite episode. Favorite episode was 1, 3, 5, 8, 1, 3. So yep, that's kind of I have 1, 2, 3. 5. Yep, that's up there. Then tonight. Yep, we're on the same wavelength. Love it, love it, love it. He couldn't protect his own daughter. He wants to redeem himself that's what the story is at its core. You're probably responding to a comment or something like that, Kenny. Never played the game. My impression of Joel is the only from the series. Okay, I think you guys are having a little bit of a conversation. I'll be here all night. Hey, I love it. I love it. All right. So I think I'm caught up with a lot of you comments here. Let me go on and just get to the kind of the meat of the episode here. And that's where we see again, we had the moment between Ellie and David. And again, him leaning more into him being the creep, him telling her a little bit of his origin story, that he used to be a teacher turned preacher. He was chosen, which I know my man Jay Manley was mentioning earlier when we were doing a watch party. He didn't know if he felt like he might have been lying about that. I think he might have been honest as far as like them picking him, because to me he comes off, or at least the group came off, as very kind of weak-minded individuals. So it just took a matter of time of someone just speaking up for them, like, okay, yeah, we'll follow your lead, sir. But he tells her his whole origin, where he comes from and whatnot, as far as his past life, teacher, preacher, and now the leader. But then he tells her the story about, again, as we talked about, that a group of guys were out. They were minding their business, per se, and they end up dying due to the hands of a man walking along with a girl. So, and obviously that kind of shook her. And again, whenever he turned on that switch, Scott, the actor who played David, that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, he's leaning into that creepiness, and he's doing a really good job in doing so. So this was a standout moment to me because it showed the side of David that I thought that the actor really kind of captured really well, which is the pretending to be someone that's reasonable and works with logic. And yeah, I thought that was really well. And I'm very surprised that I wish there was a little bit more conflict between David and James, because we see James throughout this episode being like, really, bro, we just can't, just a little girl. But obviously David has his own motives of why he's keeping her alive, which I don't know if that's something that, again, this just goes to my mind as like, I'm always a fan of just like world building and understanding characters more. I wonder if they knew, or James, who seems to be his right-hand man in the video game and in the show as well, if he knew he had that side of him. Like, I wonder if there was ever a moment within their group that, because we saw David slap that girl and say, "I'm your daddy," right in front of the girl's mom who just lost her husband. But I wonder if he showed any of those signs of being, well, I guess he probably didn't show that side of him, his parental, being into children side, because he said that he saw himself in Ellie, and it seems like everyone else that he says is in his camp are weak-minded. They're just sheep. He's a sheep leader, so maybe he didn't see anyone that attracted him as much as Ellie. But I wonder if there were signs, and if there were, if they just kind of turned a blind eye, which, not to get too deep into the woods, but, there's obviously a lot of leaders, cult leaders. There's people in, certain groups that you would hope wouldn't have those urges and hope to have those type of evil kind of needs and evil type of things that they do. But there's unfortunately evil people in this world that do, use children to their pleasures. So, but I wonder if he ever conveyed that with his group of people, and if they, like I said, just turned a blind eye because he is the quote unquote leader. And he's the one that God has sent to them to lead them on the way. So I'm very curious if that was ever something that was seen throughout their little dynamic of power. But we will never know because they didn't show it to us. He has the manipulative quality. Yeah, definitely. Mental mind games. Let's see. I thought the actor was great. You talking about Scott? You thought he was great. I think James was gonna be taken out next for meat. He was so submissive. Yeah, no, I think that him and David just had too much of a relationship for him to kill him. And he's, if you wouldn't probably kill someone that would just probably do anything you say if you were in David's position. Put himself, because I don't know. Yeah, could have been for sure. Let's see. I appreciate all the ones that played the game, kind of filling in the blanks from here, for stuff I don't remember. Didn't show any scenes of him with the group. Okay, gotcha. And by the way, too, they said in the show tonight that they killed the people that were dead or dying. I wonder was that just a result of not enough food that caused them to slowly die? Because as they mentioned earlier in the episode, they're kind of running low on food. So you would imagine maybe some of the older, but when they showed those bodies, I could have sworn there was a couple bodies that looked to be youth, like a younger teenager, kid type of body that what we saw hung up. So I don't know if they've, if you're too weak, then they killed you, or if it was just a matter of the food, the rations of the food was running low and people were kind of falling off, and then obviously they ate those people. So, but I don't know. Let me know, guys, if that's something you guys thought about watching the episode. But either way, we kind of fast forward. Ellie is telling Joel by any means necessary, because at this point she knows that David and his crew is out for vengeance. They're looking for Joel. She gives him a knife and says, "Joel, if anyone comes down here, just kill them." She goes out. Again, I just love everything that Ellie represented in this episode and how smart she was. Again, this is all new territory to her. The fact that she knew, I need to get them as far away from Joel as possible, so I need to be the distraction. was so genius on her part. She goes on a horse. Unfortunately, James takes her down. David, before taking him down, said, listen here, keep her alive for his obvious reasons, as we see on the screen here. As he, the gentleman, I don't think they gave them all characters' name, but the guy next to James, do it, kill her. He was going to do it, man. He's going to go against his orders, which I'm very curious on, like, what would have been the result of that if he would have killed Ellie, if David would have had any, going back to what you guys said earlier about killing James, I wonder if he would have killed James, if he would have killed Ellie, or maybe harmed Ellie, shot her, set her for the horse. But either way, we'll never find that out. But, they keep her alive, and they go about her bringing her. He's Dahmer. Yeah, he definitely gave some Dahmer vibes for sure. But yeah, they end up capturing Ellie. And as that's going on, man, again, we talked about it earlier, but Joel, he's down there in that basement, man. Again, my man turned from being, on his deathbed to taking someone out with a death blow. And again, I don't know if that's if there's any nurses or doctors in the building tonight, but again, with a mixture of adrenaline and the penicillin and all the stuff, the wound that he had, the infection, if he's able to, if you can muster up enough energy to take this guy out, again, this episode is all about survival. And we saw Joel survive, right, by any means necessary, man, as he kills the girl or kills one of the David's men. But a scene that definitely was a standout moment, and again, goes back to Bella, is this conversation. And again, like I mentioned, if there were some criticism, I do wish that from first conversation at the, from them talking in front of the fire, for she gets his little bit of his backstory, to the next time I see you, to here, to I want you to be my wife. I just wish there was maybe 1 to 2, at minimum, one more scene of them communicating with each other before we go from what I consider to be 0 to 100. So that's one of my criticisms, but I will say the scene is still fantastic. Him talking to Ellie, him, thinking that he is doing what like a lot of you all are saying, he's very manipulating people and able to get his way and get into people's head. He kind of gives her the story of, what they've been doing. And as that conversation is happening, Joel, hold on, before we get to that conversation, I got to talk about another one of my favorite scenes that I was so happy that they recreated in tonight's episode. And that is the recreation of Joel, who, again, adrenaline is running at an all-time high, captures one of the guys, knocks out another guy. I mean, again, this man is on full berserker mode, like Logan. He captures one of the guys, and again, if you played the game, I was so happy to get this. He has one of the guys. He puts a knife, and I can only imagine the pain going through that dude's head when you stab someone in the leg and you have a knife right behind their kneecap in your tendon. Oh my goodness, it had to be extremely painful, but he deserved it. Joel gets information from him, and again, if you've played the game, this is literally taken straight from the game. He gets the information he needs. Point on the map where they are located. And if your buddy if it doesn't match up, it's not going to be a good result for you two. He does so. The guy, as they do in the game, I'm not going to tell you anything. You're not going to get anything out of me. Oh, no, I believe you. And takes him out. And I was so glad they did it with the, with the, not crowbar, but the steel that he has there, that pipe, man. Just, I wish they would have showed it, because I don't think they showed it in the game. I think they actually might. No, in the game, they show him hit the guy a couple times, and then I think they pan away eventually. But either way, it conveys, again, that's one of the things when it comes to violence in the show. Do you allow the audience to make up in their imagination what he did and just hearing him well on the dude, or do you show it? So again, this show has a level of restraint that I do appreciate. We talked about that with episode 3, right? With Bill and Frank's death. Some shows, some creators probably would have showed the corpse, would have showed them dying, showing them had died. But this show decided to kind of, allude to it. And we just got the shot of the window. I can appreciate that. But I would have loved to have seen Joel take those guys out. I don't know. This is just, violence doesn't always win. But in a show like this, in the confines of the show, I would have loved to have seen that. But speaking of love and had seen it, I'm glad we didn't see them chopping up people as Ellie is showing an ear on the floor, alluding to them being cannibals again. I wish there was just a little bit more to that buildup, because again, I feel like there was just moments in which, okay, we're going from this is the situation to now we're going to the extreme levels, right? I think there could have been, as a video game, I knew that they were cannibals, right? But I wish, let me know at home for those that this is their first time, obviously haven't played the game. This is your first time being exposed to the story. Were there any hints now thinking about it? Hindsight 2020. Did you all get the hints that the show was kind of putting out there very early on? The running out of meat. There's a scene where there's David's people are in the kitchen and they're very suspect about like, well, this is, I can't remember what, I think they said it was deer meat or whatever. And the way that he was like, yeah, this is deer meat. And the girl kind of like looks at him like, keeping it on the hush. Because I think David says later on there was only a few people that knew what they were actually eating. And I'm very curious on how long they were eating or going to eating people, because going back to that dinner scene, and when you notice too, like the portions, how David had a full plate and everyone else had like a small bowl. But the way they were eating that was like, they were obviously loving the meat, not knowing what they were actually eating. But I wonder how long they were in that desperation mode, how long they were eating, how long were they without real meat until they had to do. I don't think he says in this episode, he said eventually they had to do this to survive, but I'm just curious on how long they were doing that. But either way, it goes back to a criticism. I just wish that there was more of like leading into that reveal of it being they're cannibals versus like, oh, an ear on the ground and Ellie just immediately, and you guys eat people. I wish there was a little bit more build up to that. And again, for those video games player out there, let me know if there was, I could have sworn there was more to that than just like, boom, Ellie was able to figure it out like within seconds of seeing that ear on the ground. But either way, we see him giving his reasons on why they have to do this. And, again, the whole idea of this episode to be the theme is just, what are you willing to do to survive? Or what are you willing to do to help the people you care about survive? As we see that from David's sick, twisted mind, what he's doing for his people, and how we see Ellie doing that for Joel. And obviously the reverse on that is Joel doing that for Ellie. But, we see him trying to reason with her. And again, everything that Bella does in this episode was perfect. She kind of cuts in from being this hard ass and being this person that he literally says that he's terrified of her, which I believe the after show alluded to. This is a line that they added in, that he is scared of her. He sees her pain. He sees her violence. And she goes from being that fearful individual to then she kind of cuts on this light, as you guys can see on the screen now, where she kind of switches her body language, where she's, was obviously being defensive to being kind of defenseless, to lure in again, like it's kind of like a hunting, the predator hunting its prey. She was allowing him to bait her in, right? But at the same time, she was baiting him in. Okay, yeah, no, I understand. And as he's doing his weird, creepy speech about, I think me and you can lead, and the hands getting on the cage. And again, Bella did such a good job of just being like, oh, submissive, right? Being very submissive and kind of playing into his pervertic mind. And again, shout out to the actor, because I would imagine being an actor, and I don't know if this Scott Shepherd has a wife and kids. I always think about this when any time an actor has to play a predator, like that has to be difficult to play that, because obviously you don't want people to be like, man, he's really good. He or she is really good at playing a predator. It makes you think, but again, it's acting. That's what they pay for, to be actors, to play someone else. But I mean, he did a job of playing a creep, man, as he puts his hand on the I can't even think of this, the jail cell there. She puts his hand over his and then cracks his finger, man. Again, I just think that she did such a great job of playing like a, again, going back to survival and this whole episode, hunting and hunters and all that, like playing like she's defenseless, that she's helpless, that she's just being submissive to him, to eventually attacking. To me, it was just great, man. And Bella just, she ate it up, man. She did a great job. And him obviously realizing that she was lying, and this whole time, which I guess is another predator tactic. They want to know the name of their victim to kind of put it in their trophy case or whatever. Another person I was able to break. He's been asking her the whole episode, "What's your name? What's your name?" And she finally tells him her name, and it's in this moment. And again, the blood on the nose. Anyone else would have probably been broken. terrified, frightened, but not our Ellie. You want to know my name? My name's Ellie, and tell them I'm the mother that broke your finger. Like, come on, man. This is great. This is great, man. If she is up for any awards, which we'll see what next week's brings, this is the scene you play. This is the scene you play, because this to me was just like, hell yeah. I felt that, man. I thought she did great in that moment. But fast forward, we got Joel in the middle of the storm. Again, following the instructions from the guys he just took out. He manages to find a suitcase and figure out where Ellie might be, that he's getting close. At this point, David and James capture Ellie. This is literally straight shot for shot from the video game. She bites David. She tells him that she's infected, and she's, again, everything she's doing in this. She carried tonight's episode for me, 100%. And it's not taking anything away from the actors in tonight, including Pedro Pascal, who I jokingly mentioned was, sleeping most of this episode, getting that check, man. But she just sold this moment, man, where she's like, I'm infected. You're going to be infected. And just seeing how all that played out and going back to just how meta it was to know that Troy Baker, who voiced Joel in the game, is playing James, who's there to kill Ellie. But then seeing him actually being killed by Ellie is just so great to me. Just seeing her again. Bella, let me go to this scene here. Again, she shows the look in her eyes, the sense of desperation in her eyes right here. Like, she didn't freeze. She wasn't broken. She didn't panic. She didn't give up. While they're conversing about is she telling the truth or not, she's still thinking on her head. She's still thinking on her feet. And I think this goes back to her and Joel, their relationship over the last, 7 episodes. You gotta continue to fight, right? You don't give up. And not even Joel, she knows that, because she did that last week when she, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the Riley stuff, but the thing that Riley taught her is to never give up. So we see her not giving up and taking that knife, man, wow, right into David or James' neck. I'm getting, like I said, I'm at an 8.8, but I'm telling you, man, for me, this Bella performance and just seeing Bella Ramsey navigate herself throughout this episode is just, she was fierce, man. She was fierce. She did her thing. So at this point, she, again, another shot for shot kind of moment. Well, not shot for shot. I think they took some creative liberties in the final scene between her and David, because she kills James. I don't remember if she threw a log at him and set the fire in the game. Any game players out there, let me know in the comments. But, we see her and I don't know, is there a little bit of symbolism here with that sign in the background? I don't know if that's like a full circle moment. When you are in need, he shall provide. And I don't know if that's like poetic justice for this David character. He's built up in his head that he is the provider of all these people. He's their father of everyone. His way or the highway type of thing. And then him being under that sign and her being the one that kills him. And I'm very curious, just again, going back to my head of just like being such a person of like, I wonder what characters are doing during this moment. Like, I wonder where the rest of his people were at this point. They see the lodge is on fire. They know there's something going on. But either way, I guess we got to, suspend your disbelief or just imagine they seem to be people that they don't take initiative. Like, if they see a fire, they're probably just stay in their cabins until they're told to leave or told to do something. So whatever. But again, we see Ellie in this moment takes this opportunity kind of again, if you're a big horror fan like I am, I said it reminded me kind of like a Final Girl of Ellie being like a Sidney Prescott, Scream coming out later this week, or Laurie Strode, or Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street. This whole episode, well, not the whole episode, but the majority of this episode, and again, going back to the predator, prey, hunter, huntee being kind of the theme, survival of this episode, she is being hunted. Now, the roles have kind of reversed, right? She's now being hunted, but she still is not being, submitting to this guy or being afraid at the moment. Weapon in hand, get in a position of, being able to attack him if he lowers his guard. And she does that, man. She makes her move, stabs him in the stomach. And again, at this point, just going back to her not giving up, her not submitting to this awful individual. He has her. she's not, again, not being afraid, not just simply just giving up at the point, yelling in his face, and again, very primal, very, last resort type of thing, and just fighting every inch, every ounce in her body, not fighting or not giving up, man. Goddamn, Bella. I wish I could play this scene, but I don't want to obviously get the stream flagged. Takes that cleaver and again, for those that played the game, I mentioned it in the watch party. In the game, Ellie is doing what she's doing to him now, which is just completely going ham, taking him out, right? And I'm just trying to think this moment is just like how much is going to change Ellie moving forward. And in the game, it's a pivotal moment for the character, but just in the confines of the show, I'm just so curious to see her next week, just seeing where she's at mentally after doing something with such, obviously, to her defense and rightfully so, killing this person that was going to do what he was going to do to her. But I'm just very curious in seeing that progression from one episode to the next. But she takes him out. And in the game, Joel comes into the room, takes her off of him. Very similar to what happens in this episode. She's still kind of in flight or flight mode. She's still in survivor mode. She doesn't realize it's Joe right away, but she realizes it eventually. And she says something too in the game. I wish I could pull it up on YouTube. She says something very pivotal in the game where she's like, like, again, she was still like in fight mode, but I can't remember the line she says in the game. I'll have to find it somewhere. But in this moment, though, she's, she sees Joel, and let me go back to the screenshot here. I'm getting all that. I say all that to say I asked the question in the watch along. For those that play the game, do you prefer the way the game handled it, where Joel's the one who finds her, pulls her off of David, and doesn't save her because she saved herself, but is able to calm her down in that moment, which she does in this episode. But I actually personally like the idea that it was Ellie who eventually stops, killing him because she's already, the job's done. And the look on her face where she's just realizing what just happened, what just transpired. She kind of looks at the body. She walks out on her own accords, on her own 2 feet, and looks out in the, vast space of mountains and water and snow. And then Joel coming up behind her. Let me pull up the screenshot here. I'm trying to get a cleaner shot, but hold on. It's so blurry. Goddamn it. I'm gonna try. This is like the cleanest I can get. But when Joel, gathers her, grabs her, again, you see the fierceness, the fear, her being frightened, her being strong, her surviving what just happened. But when she realizes it's Joel, the moment, and if you were watching tonight's watch party, I got a little misty-eyed it when he tells her, let me see if I can pull up the subtitles here. But when he tells her, it's okay, I got you. Hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Are you okay? Okay, he's saying, I'm just repeating what he says. Are you okay? And did he say baby girl yet? Or did I miss it? He might have said it at first. Let me rewind it. Yep, here it is. Yeah. That line to me, that got me because, again, the last time that, not the last time they spoke, but one of the, in the end of episode, here it is. The end of episode 6, when they have that big falling out of a sorts, when he tells her, you'll never be my daughter. Obviously, they kind of make up when he goes to take her on the road. But the fact that he told her, you'll never be my daughter. And we know how much Sarah meant to Joel. Obviously, such a beautiful episode 1. To him to say to her, I think I got the screenshot here. It's okay, baby girl. Yeah, here it is. I mean, if that didn't get y'all at home, I don't know what will. I don't know. I take words. Obviously, this is a show. It's fictional or whatnot. But, being invested in the moment, being invested in the show, being invested in the characters, following along with these characters. When you think of all the stuff they've been through, what he's been through individually, and for him to say those words to Ellie at that point, it's okay, baby girl. And that wasn't like he didn't pause and like, okay, yeah, I can call it. Like it just naturally came out because naturally at that moment, he's going back to Sarah and not being there for Sarah. But then obviously having this moment where he's able to see that she survived, and again, he didn't save her. That's the whole arc of Ellie. This is Ellie. At the end of the day, she saved herself. She was able to manage to keep Joel protected. Obviously, he killed those 2 guys, but if he didn't have a knife, what would have happened, right? So even then, she was able to save him by providing him with that weapon. But it's just a beautiful moment, man. It's just a moment that builds up to this. Again, I'm not trying to bring up last week, which again, I know a lot of people love last week, but to me, what this episode did better than what I feel like was lacking last week, I felt the earnestness of the whole, and just even taking aside the 6 other episodes or the 7 other episodes, but just the earnestness in this episode, I felt that from Joel being reciprocated from Ellie and them just having that moment of like connection, right? I don't know. I'm just trying to find the words because I was almost speechless in that moment because it was just such a beautiful, beautiful scene. And like I said, I got misty at it while watching it, man. It was a heartfelt moment, it's an earned moment, and it was portrayed beautifully by both actors. But again, just knowing how Bella just completely a tour de France, as they say, of a performance, man. And to have her embracing him and him embracing her, it's okay, baby girl. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. This is probably one of my favorite moments of the show. Just thinking of all the great moments of the show, from the obviously the action moments from episode 5 to being in awe of episode 1. I'm just like, oh man, I can't believe they're able to capture all this. Tess's death, Bill and Frank. Those some great moments there. I didn't like episode 4. There was really nothing that stands out to me in episode 4 besides, Sam and Henry coming in at the end. Obviously, Sam and Henry dying. Yeah, this is one of my favorite moments, man. Again, no action, but emotion, right? It got me. But anyway, man, I think that's the last shot, last moments. And I wanted more. I was like, oh no, why'd you have to end here? As he's just holding her, and she's been through a lot, man. That's why I'm so excited to see next week's episode because, this whole entire season, when we've seen Ellie come across these type of life altering kind of traumatic moments in the season, when she sees Tess die, they got to move on. Bill, obviously she didn't meet Bill or Frank, but still there's somberness in the air. You can clearly see Joel's upset, but you got to keep moving. Sam and Henry, she was the one that told Joel, we got to keep going, right? So there hasn't been a moment in which we saw Ellie truly acknowledge what's going on, truly acknowledge some traumatic instances that she's experienced. Because again, it's always been her or Joel are the ones like, we got to keep going. We can't sit in this moment. We got to keep going. But for her to just kind of pause and just actually kind of like, she's frozen, man. Again, man, I can't say it enough. Bella, she's killing it, man. She killed this episode. So yeah, man, I think that's the last shot. Let me see. I see some LOLs and some smiley faces. What y'all saying in the comments here? Y'all cracking some meat jokes? Any more jokes? Like next time we see Joel, Ellie, they will be so close, like father and daughter. They'll save each other. Where did the joke come in? I'm joking. I mean, it's all right. Oh, you talking about the moment? Oh, I got you, Kenny. But yeah, man. So where did I start off at? I said an 8.5 or 8.5, 8.8. I'll go to I said I was going to go over a 9, but now talking about those moments in the build-up, I'll go 9.2 out of 10. Give it that extra 2. 2.2. 9.2 out of 10 for me tonight's episode, which again puts it at, again, if I'm just recapping, 1, 2, and 3 to me are just so well put together, so well written, so well acted, very cinematic, just great episodes of TV for me. 4, bottom of the list for me. 5, top of the list for me. Episode 6. What was episode 6, guys? What was episode 6? We lost Henry and Sam in episode 5. Jesus, what was episode 6 about? Let me go back to my what was episode 6? So clearly I remember it being good, but clearly I can't remember it, so it must have not been that good. No, episode 6 was great. I'm just can't remembering what went down at the moment. Episode 6 was Ken. 3 months after Henry and Sam's death, Joel and Ellie have reached a small. Okay, episode 6 was Maria and Tommy. Yes, that was a great episode. Okay, hold on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 5. Ooh, 8 and 5 are kind of okay. I'm gonna still go 5. I'm gonna go 8. So that's top 5, and then I'm gonna go 6, 7, 4. So yeah, that's my top 8 if you guys are at home watching. And I'm not going to repeat it because I already forgot it. But nah, that's how I'm going. 4 is my least favorite, and 1, 2, and 3 are my top 3. And then rounding out the top 5 is 5, and then tonight's episode. So that leads us to next week, man. Where do we go? Where do we go next week? 2 things I know about next week. I haven't seen the episode, but from what I've heard, it's under an hour, which, I'm not a stickler on run times unless like I felt like there could have been more added meat to these episodes, especially tonight. I feel like there were moments that we could have gotten more development, more fleshing out. Another meat pun. But I'm normally not a stickler like you have to be an hour plus to really, tell a good story. And I don't feel that way. If they feel as though next week's episode, whatever, I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's under an hour. If they felt like they got the most out of that hour or hour less, I'm going to be fine with it. But then that brings me to my second thing that I know about next week's episode, and this comes from Bella Ramsey herself. In the last week or so, she's been interviewed, multiple times throughout the season, but she was recently interviewed, and she mentioned, I don't know how it came about. I'm sure the interviewer said, "Oh, well, what can we expect for a finale?" And I don't know the whole context of the quote, but I know the big thing that was taken on the quote was she said it's going to be very divisive. So obviously, your first thing that goes to mind is like, God damn it, I'm going to probably be the one that's not going to enjoy it. Or maybe I'll be the one that loves it. But I don't know. When actors say that, sometimes they think, sometimes too, and I haven't read the whole quote, maybe that was like pieced together and she maybe didn't say that verbatim, but neither here nor there. I'm not going to bring any of that baggage into next week. I'm going to go in pretty clean slate, not hoping to not like it or hoping to love it, just enjoying it for taking it in for what they're trying to give us. Now, obviously, again, I always mess it up. I've played the game. I know how things end. There's still a lot of story left that they haven't told, little nuances in their relationship that they haven't really explored. And based on the trailer that I did see, I'm curious, nervous to see them kind of breeze past some things and get from point A to point B and having things happen maybe too quickly. But again, we'll see what comes next week. But neither here nor there. I'm excited for next week. Next week is not only a big night for this show, but if there's any film fans, it's the big Super Bowl of movies, award season, the Oscars. I don't really take too much stock into Oscars, but since I've been a quote unquote film critic, last year 2022 was the most Oscar movies I've ever seen, as far as like deliberately seen. Like I've seen a lot of Oscar movies throughout my life, but it was like normally either after the Oscars or trying to catch up with the Oscars. But this was the first year that I've seen all of them, except for one I still have to watch, the Netflix Winter Western Front movie that's still on my list, but I've seen everything else. So obviously I won't be able to watch the Oscars because I'm gonna be, hosting next week's watch party and the after show. But I'm excited to see who's gonna win, man. Just give you guys some, and I'll probably give you some final predictions before. Well, we'll probably be live when they give out some of the main awards. So it's like a 3-hour show, so we'll know who's gonna win Best Picture by the time we have our after show. But Everything Everywhere at Once, man, my favorite film of last year. I think they're gonna definitely get some. I think they're going to get Best Picture next week. That's one of my biggest predictions. But Angela Bassett doing her thing, Kenya, she be doing the thing. Yeah, I love Angela, and she won the SAG award, didn't she? She won Best Actor at the SAG award and the BAFTAs. But I think Best Supporting Actress will probably be. I think Carrie Condon is going to probably get that. If you guys seen Banshees of Inisherin, I think she was great, and I love Angela. Don't get me wrong, but I think she's a sleeper horse is Mary Condon. But we see. I will listen. I would jump for joy if Angela wins, and I hope she wins. But I think Carrie might get that for Best Supporting Actress. But anyway, that's next week. We'll talk about that next week. We're here to, again, wrap up this episode that I'm ultimately went from an 8.8 at the beginning of the stream to giving this a 9.2 by the end of this discussion. And listen, 2.5 hours, man. We still got 60 people here strong. I appreciate y'all, man. You all are awesome. I appreciate you joining me tonight. Let me get some final comments before we wrap it up. But before we do, again, just thumbs up, share video. And for those watching the replay, I appreciate you. Hit those thumbs up, share, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. But let me get to some of these comments before we call this a night. Let me see if y'all was in my mindset with the last ending here. Was he gonna? Well, I can't pull that up, Justin, but I think he was, Justin. Your comment that you left about 10 minutes ago, referring to what David was going to do to her. I think so. Story went from Boston, Kansas City, Wyoming, Colorado, ends up in Utah, and state, right? Oh, finally. Okay, Justin, just catching up to the episode. Got you, bro. Got you. Um, yeah, I'm just reading your final comments, guys. And Jay, I don't know if you're still here, Jay. I didn't check my phone during the stream, besides looking up some, movies that I was forgetting about earlier. But I saw your message, man. We'll have to get you on next week, Jay. I just saw your message, man. Sorry, I just seeing that now. Second killer, Sarah. I watched episode 2 twice. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Six was Sam the brother. I think it was brother. Tommy, not Sam. Tommy, Ellie seeks experience and passion. All right, any final questions you guys have? Put them in the chat, and I'll try to get to them before we wrap it up. Do you think we might get a season finale on Friday because of the Oscars? That's a good question, Justin. Because obviously they did that for the Super Bowl, and again, my comparison, not just my comparison, but this is the Super Bowl for movies, is the Oscars. So I don't know. Right now, it's still scheduled for next week for the 12th, which is the Oscars. I'm wondering if they're not gonna. They probably listen. To be honest with you, Justin, even though we're big film fans here, obviously the Oscars don't get the same viewership, the same numbers as the Super Bowl. Like, because obviously the Super Bowl is so much of a global event than it is just like more domestically. So they probably don't feel like there's going to be a lot of crossover. If I'm being honest with you, Justin. So not that they're saying that they're not underestimating the Oscars, but besides Will Smith, slapping Chris Rock last year, that was the most like eventful thing the Oscars has done in the last few years. So they probably feel as though there's not going to be a huge detriment to their numbers during the Oscars. So yeah, I doubt they'll move it, to be honest with you, man. But we'll see. I mean, they could. Who knows? I'm saying this now, and they'll put out a statement tomorrow and say, "Oh no, episode's going to be out early." But who knows? We'll see. You guys think it's gonna be a cliffhanger? Oof. I mean, yeah, you might be right, 50, because the word on the street is that they've obviously confirmed there's a season 2, but a lot of people believe that season 2 will be split into 2 seasons, part 1 and part 2. Because I haven't played part 2 Last of Us, but I do know it's a much larger game. So yeah, and then not having had played The Last of Us 2, I do know some of the more controversial things that the story that sparked a lot of debate of things they did. And I won't mention it here. I don't want to spoil anything, but I wonder if them ending, if this is if we do the good cliffhanger, I wonder if that is going to prolong any particular events that take place in part 2. You know what I'm saying? If you can read between the lines, what I'm getting at 50 without spoiling anything, if you're familiar with part 2. But yeah, we might. Do we want a cliffhanger? I mean, obviously no one wants a cliffhanger. I think everyone wants to be like, oh, satisfaction, especially not knowing when season 2 is going to happen. So we'll see. Runtime is 46 minutes. They don't need much time to do what needs to be done by then. I feel like there's still some more story to be told, in my opinion, Nate, based on the game. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Tommy hasn't been shown much. Yeah, Tommy, Marlena. There's a lot of characters that haven't been. Hopefully, Succession and Perry Mason new seasons are better than the previous ones. Oh, you didn't like season 1 of Perry Mason? Oh, you didn't like season 3 of Succession? Interesting. Let me know if you're still here, man. I love those. Well, I didn't love Perry Mason. I really enjoyed Perry Mason, but I love Succession. I don't trust us anymore. Best. Yeah. I'm watching for Angela Bassett. By the way, did anyone watch the Chris Rock? I didn't. I don't find him to be too funny. I heard it was kind of mixed anyway, but did you watch it, Jay? And anyone in the chat before we wrap it up? Did anyone else watch it? Do Joel and Ellie get separated? I don't know the game, so I don't want to answer that. I don't want to spoil anything for you. But if you saw the trailer, you saw they were together. But that doesn't mean anything for the end. So I guess we gotta find out next week. It won't be a cliffhanger. Story won't be wrapped up because wait. No, it won't be a cliffhanger. Ellie's story won't be wrapped up because half of part 2 is her story, but Joel's redemption arc is for sure. Gotcha. Michelle Yeoh, you think she's gonna win Best Actress next week? I think you might be all right. I think you might be all right. Oscars hate comic book movies. I wouldn't say they hate comic book movies. I just don't think they see the nuance of comic book movies. Because I mean, in the last 5 years, we've gotten Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture. Obviously, didn't win, but it was nominated. That was coming a long way for comic book movies. Obviously, Heath Ledger was nominated and won Best Supporting Actor back in 2009 Oscar. Joaquin Phoenix won for Best, for Joker. So, I mean, there's proof that they don't completely ignore it. So, and again, just the fact that Angela was nominated was the first Marvel actor to be nominated. So it's slowly but surely they recognize it. I just listen as a horror fan. I just wish they would acknowledge the horror genre better than what they have. Yeah, she was great. What Angela Bassett played in now? Well, she got nominated for Wakanda Forever as the queen. Bunch of movies I don't know nothing about what's up for Oscars. It was a good year. X, like I said, this is my first year being a part of a film association, so I was able to get a lot of screen. Actually, they're all, you can't see it, but there's all like 40 films that I got, screeners of films that I watched from November to December to vote. So yeah, some good nominees. What is it? Avatar, Banshees of Inisherin, the Western Front. I can't think of the full title. Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick, Elvis, Tar, Triangle of Sadness, and what was it? I think there were either 9 or 10 nominees, so I can't remember the last two, but yeah, it's some pretty good nominees, man. Pretty good nominations this year. All right, Goose, you have a good night. What about the new John Wick movie? I'm excited for it, and hopefully we'll be seeing it soon. Thanks, Elliot. Thank you. Super passionate. Sorry, apologize for the comments. Oh, y'all just having some good conversations in the comment section. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. I think I caught up to most of your comments. So with that, we're all good, y'all. So thank you again. A million thanks from me to you. I appreciate y'all joining me tonight. For those that were part of the watch party and stuck around for these almost 3 hours, I thank you. For those that popped in for the after show, I thank you. And those that just popped in throughout the stream, I appreciate you. This is gonna be a fun week, man. We got I'm seeing Scream 6 tomorrow night, and I think there's an embargo that lifts on Wednesday. But I'll give you guys kind of my out of theater reaction for Scream 6 that I'll be watching tomorrow night. And then there's Perry Mason tomorrow, which I got the screen. I just haven't watched it yet. I'm going to probably watch it tonight and try to get a review out for you guys for episode 1 before it premieres tomorrow. So we'll see. Fingers crossed on that. But Perry Mason returns tomorrow, season 2. And then if there's any Netflix U fans, I got a chance to watch part 2. And I, as I did with part 1, I watched all of the episodes and broke them down individually. So I did the same thing for part 2. So I'm just finishing editing up my final videos. So when that drops on Friday, part 2, season 4, part 2, I'll have videos lined up for you all. So keep an eye out for that. And then this week, I'll probably do like a spoiler discussion for Scream 6 because I'm a big fan of that franchise. And then if there's any Atlanta fans out there, Donald Glover's Atlanta, I did watch the first episode for Swarm, which is his new show on Amazon. I saw the first episode. I think I'm under embargo still, so I can't say like if it was good or bad, but I'll just smile. All right. So yeah, a lot of good stuff to come out this week, man. So I hope you guys are subscribed. I hope you hit the notification bell so you can see all that great content. What we got to watch after this? Ted Lasso. Yeah, I got to catch up with Ted Lasso. But for me, Justin, this is Succession, man. And again, I'm gonna try to get back to Perry Mason. If the demand is there, I'll probably do weekly reviews for that. And then for any Servant fans, we still got 2 episodes of that to look forward to. Let's see here. Let's see. Season 3 Succession was off the wheels. Last ones were worth it. Wasn't a fan. It's messy. Oh, you talking about the Chris Rock special? Yeah, I'm not gonna probably watch it. He went. Yeah, I saw some of the comments, Kevin, on this. That was kind of. I didn't really laugh, but I was like, okay, at least he got it off his chest now, I guess. Um, that was so true, Elliot. How horror is not. Yeah, it's ridiculous, Justin. I never appreciate. I mean, hell, in the last Lupita Nyong'o and Us, Elizabeth Moss and Invisible Girl, Invisible Man, Emily Blunt and Quiet Place, Tony Collette in Hereditary, Florence Pugh in Midsummer. I mean, and that's just within the last 5 years. There's been other years that horror has been like some great. Scream is so awesome. So it's going to be. I'm really excited. Looking forward to seeing it tomorrow. Speaking of Scream, Jenna Ortega was on. I know I got to watch that. I'm a big fan of Jenna, and not just because of Wednesday. I've been a fan of hers for quite a bit now. With her, it was a movie on HBO that she did. It was about a school shooting. I thought she was just so great in that film. And of course, she was great in X, and of course, she was great in Wednesday, and I liked her in Scream 5. So yeah, she's on a streak, man. So I'm excited to see Jenna, and I'm excited to see her on Hot Ones. I like that. I like Hot Ones in general, but I love when they have good guests like Jenna. So I gotta check that out. So, all right, y'all, you all have been awesome. Again, I appreciate you. Just a reminder before you all leave, to if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up, hit the share button, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Those watching the replay, and I will see you guys tomorrow night with my Honor Theater reaction for Scream 6. You guys have been awesome. Hope you stay safe, and we'll see you soon, guys. Peace out.